and she said she was so pumped. She went backstage and she must have looked pretty destroyed, because a few people went up to her and asked if she was all right. And I did say to her, "Wow, when when people think you might be having a heart attack, you were pretty pumped." And she laughed, but yeah, she definitely gave the routes absolutely everything yesterday.
Well, it's interesting also the recovery. She's obviously had 24 hours, a bit less to recover for this semi-final round. Well, sometimes when you get boxed that badly, the recovery can take quite some time, and that's also dependent on what your warm-up was like and everything else. So just focusing on this section at the bottom here, we've seen Luz Duarte use the same sequence here as Shauna. We've seen most of the other female athletes hold that sort of screw-on volume on top of the round volume with their left and roll over the right. Shauna and Luz Duarte just matching it and going up to the screw-ons on top, skipping one hold. Interesting to see slightly different methods developing just at the bottom of the wall, depending on how they favour that volume sequence. Shauna Cox is definitely one of those athletes who's got eyes on the Olympics pretty much 100%. Just did a couple of Boulder World Cups, got the ranking points that she needed. Chances are if she gets a good result here, we won't see her for the rest of the lead season. Get those points in the bag, get the speed done, and just focus on what you need to do at the biggest event of them all.
She is definitely a woman with a plan. She is, as you say, got her eyes firmly fixed on the Olympics.
Well, I think that's for two reasons. One is do what you need to do and then just purely train rather than compete, because competing can really sap your body. And she's had a decent string of injuries in the last couple of years, so she's got to be careful. Climb in the most controlled way possible, train in the most controlled way possible with all of your team around you, and compete as much as you need to rather than as much as you possibly might want to.
So all eyes on Shauna Coxey now. The men's route currently being cleaned. I'm just looking up at how progress is going. Another 5 minutes or so, that should be done, and then we'll have the cleaning break on the women's route. So as I say, Shauna Coxey finds herself alone on the wall, 13th climber on the women's side. Victoria Meshkova will be the 14th climber out after the cleaning break, and Philipp Martin of Germany will be the 14th climber on the men's route when that is done with being cleaned. So let's focus on Shauna for now. Had to pop out to the right with her vast success down the years in bouldering. Dynamic moves not really causing her too many problems. Oh, and it was a cross through up towards hole 29 where we lost her, and that's not going to...
Really struggled to reverse that move. And it's a massive upset for Domen Skofic. They're not going to be going through to the finals. Falls off really low down around hole 26. It's 42 plus up there at the moment. Alberto from Spain, who's leading the way just behind Will Bosey, 37 plus. Really getting to the stage where we're going to know our finalists already here. It's Natsuki Tani for now, though, seemingly just cruising through this earlier section. No problems with that really hard move out to the right.
Well, that was a big shock from Domen Skofic. Made his way off the stage, looking reasonably unimpressed.
I have to say, this route really, in the men's and the women's side, it absolutely punishes you if you make the slightest mistake. Domen just literally had a slightly wrong foot sequence, but the handholds and the hand movements are so brutal that you can't reverse, and there's no way out.
Ça fait vraiment plaisir de le retrouver ici en demi-finale de difficulté, parce que c'est un vrai bloqueur. C'est pas un jeune grimpeur. Il était là depuis déjà une dizaine d'années au très haut niveau.
Suki Tani is a bit too close up to tell exactly where she is. Now you get a bit of a better view. This section of the route becoming increasingly familiar as the semi-final progresses.
Yeah, she just quickly checked over her shoulder there to see the time. She's been pretty slow up to this point. Can't actually see from our position what the time is, but I don't think it's going to be too much of an issue, considering 42 plus is not that far above her, and that is the current high point that gets you through to the finals.
Yeah, frustratingly enough, we can't actually see the clock from our position, and we don't put it on the screen because it would get a bit confusing as we cut between the men and the women. But yeah, she must be slightly pushed for time after not going particularly quickly.
This is 42 at the moment then on that right hand edge of the volume. Let's see if we can see a new high point from Natsuki here. She's looking really solid at the moment, actually taking a moment to chalk and rest where the high point Molly Thompson-Smith actually fell.
Yeah, so it was going up for this hole, if memory serves me rightly, for Molly Thompson-Smith.
Yeah, Natsuki Tani does go up. There's a small screw-on jib attached to the top of that. She gets it nicely with her left hand. She will just sort of piano mitt, shuffle across that sloper before trying to rock her way onto this big volume.
Needs to get this clip done, especially with the rope in a slightly awkward position behind her right leg. Every move now is pushing this high point higher and higher from Natsuki Tani. She's crossed through, that's around hole 46, 47. Could we see someone onto hold 50, which is over on that black volume? I have to say, she looks like she's got plenty of energy left. No clear signs of fatigue, no shaking. The elbows aren't really out.
Yeah, when I was reading it from the ground, that undercut that she had with the right hand looked desperately bad, but she managed to drill her thumb into the bolt hole and get something out of that, and she's still looking relatively fresh here, Natsuki.
She is. I think it may be a bit of, was that a bit of resistance in the B-layer and rope drag? I don't think there'll be any rope drag. She's certainly struggled to get the slack she needed to make that clip, but either way, she is motoring again up to hole 51.
She has gone up with her right hand there. She does actually get another match here. She's a very, very small climber, so just about to shuffle around on these holes is quite handy for her. So she needs to go again here, or will she get another match? Does try and go again, but just fail.
Here goes Alberto, 15th climber on the men's route, 15th of 26. Kokoro Fuji will be next out after him, and then Sasha Lehmann, who picked up his first ever World Cup win last week in his home country in Villars. And just to let you know, Ellen Janico has been lowered off the women's route, so I believe we should be ready to get going in just a second over there.
17 years old is still youth, junior, first year or second, I don't know.
Very, very strong lineups still to come on both sides. Just to let you know, I'm looking down our start list. After Victoria Meshkova on the women's side, we'll have Valentina Aguado of Argentina. Interesting to see how she gets on, a real genuine all-rounder. Then Mia Krampel, Natsuki Tani, Julia Shanodi, Jessie Pilch, Luchka Rakovic, Ashima Shiraeshi, Akio Noguchi, Yutong Jang, Ai Mori, Chaehyun Seo, and finally Yanya Garnbrett. So very interesting second half of the women's semi-final coming up. Ditto on the men's side. Alberto's certainly a man capable of making the finals. Really good day yesterday in the qualifiers. It was a couple of moves on from here that we lost Philip Martin.
Come on, if you're from Russia, please welcome Victoria. Meshkovia, alors la Russie, c'est souvent...
This is the move that we lost Martin, just matching this hold. Martin went for the undermatch. Looks like he's just gone conventionally one hand on top of the other. Alberto flowing really nicely through this bit.
Yeah, it looked like he might have a little fumble with that clip, but he got it done second go. And he looks tired, but he doesn't look super tired. Looks like he's got a bit of energy left, but it will disappear so quickly.
Yeah, as soon as you start to see his right foot just smearing on top of that hold, as soon as you're starting standing right on the top of bad footholds like that, all of a sudden the weight going through the arms just multiplies massively. That really starts to come and hurt you.
Victoria Mishkova now of Russia, we mentioned her. She's now started climbing on the women's route down at the bottom right of your screen. Let's stick with Alberto for now because he is looking super strong through here. How long before the surely inevitable severe pump kicks in?
Yeah, this is the big cut loose move that we've seen. Will Bosey did this really nicely. Sean McCall took a bit of quite a wild cut. Let's see. There's the big lock on the left arm. Super cool move.
So much power required to stop the swing like that. Basically locked off on one arm, one already pumped arm. And are we about to see a new high point here? I think we are.
That's hold 37 that he's got in his left hand. Will Bosey up there with 37 plus. Does get the cross and secures the new high point.
So this is all uncharted terrain for us in this men's semi-final. You can see the pump really kicking in, but every move he gets improves his score a bit more, and that is a new high point. That'll be a 42. See exactly what the judges make of it. So now this is the last action on the men's route, and Adam, of course, will not know it, but is actually a couple of moves short of where he needs to be.
I think, to be honest, Charlie, Adam Onder is only interested in the top chains. He wants to put on a fight here.
He is, but he looked like he either didn't quite get the sequence right, or it was harder than he was expecting, but he suddenly got very pumped very quickly, a bit lower down.
Yeah, it was that brutal side-pull section. It was the feet, exactly we saw with Domen, just skated the feet up high and right. Oh, that was risky, so close. Just hit that right-hand side that's already blocked.
Yeah, he has done enough now, though. Adam could do with freeing his leg. There it is. Yeah, he has done enough now. That will be him into the final. Does he know it? Surely not.
Surely he doesn't know, or someone has shouted at him.
Well, it would be great if we could see Adam push on and find a top, or at least get close. We haven't seen anyone get their feet onto the head wall. We've seen people slapping up onto the head wall, but not getting established on it.
Remarkable amounts of recovery here from Andre. He looked in desperate trouble, nearly fell off twice. Gets to a semi-decent hold, chalks up and starts waving to the crowd.
Oh, here he goes, Adam. He's the first person to latch hole 43. Could he give us the fairy tale finish to the semi-final and find a top? Ah, the left foot cut loose. She's underway. Only 2 climbers left to attempt that move that Jesse on the scoreboard stuck but couldn't really move off from. It would be great if we could see a top.
Yeah, 2 climbers left. Jesse Peel's already on the podium.
We're just watching this lower section. Mike, you've done a huge amount of route setting in your time. This lower section seems to be doing its job. It must be tough for route setters. You don't want to make it just a path. I guess you're just trying to get the climbers a little bit tired before the real meat of the route.
Well, I think setting at this level, it's all about just knocking off some resistance in the forearms.
Yeah.
The French route setters in particular, they use some good terminology for it. Just a little bit of separation. They like to see separation here, separation there. But ultimately, this bottom section hasn't caused too many problems. But the crowd here, I mean, when you're that far back, you can't see climbers at the bottom of the wall if they fall off. So there's no good having them off at the bottom of the wall. So it's just about really just kind of taking some power out of the wrist, taking power out of the fingers, forearms, starting to get a bit of a full body workout, whilst creating really nice, just flowy moves and not burning too much time, importantly. And that's another thing the route setters have to factor in at the bottom of the wall. 6 minutes only on these routes.
Yeah,
but you can see they're just nice little floaty moves that people always enjoy.
Time actually could be a factor for Seo. She's only just got onto the very steep section of the wall and has used almost 2 minutes. I think she's okay for time, but it's probably a little bit more of a factor than it has been for some of the other climbers.
I think the ability to rest on this route is potentially not playing too well into the climbers who are slightly more nervous. I think if you're a little bit more nervous, you will just start chalking and shaking a little bit more than if you were maybe really brimming with confidence. You know, she's probably not that pumped, but she's just kind of really resting just because she's slightly unaware of what's ahead and just kind of being quite cautious at this stage because the door really is open here for a win. Second World Cup ever in the seniors. She's fully capable of winning this.
I would be very impressed at anybody who said they really had her down as one of Janja Garnbret's biggest threats this year, but she's really delivered. She was not a flash in the pan. She didn't just have a good weekend last week in Villars. She really is the real deal.
Really struggled a little bit there just to choose between the methods. Went to try and get the left toe into that donut, the first one, and then ultimately just dropped it out and had to campus it in the end. So again, a little bit slow through that section. That's where Luchka really struggled to stand on that lower foothold.
Half her time elapsed. She's been quite a lot quicker through this steeper section than she was through the lower section, actually. So if there was an issue with time, I think she's probably dealt with it.
She's done that quite the hard way, though. Just goes up again with the right hand rather than using the toe hook rollover, and she did do well lower down to get that long quick draw. That she's the last one that she clipped off of one of the big donut holds. So I think she'll take a pretty solid rest here with 2 minutes 30 or so to go.
interesting subtlety in lead climb. It's not necessarily just about being able to do the move. In bouldering, you just give it beans and just get the move done. In lead, efficiency counts. It's about doing every move as well as you can.
Yeah, you're constantly calculating, is this the point to rest? Where should I clip? Should I push now? How fast should I go now? Should I go slower now? Should I go fast now? It's fascinating.
2 minutes of her time remaining. It should be enough. Should be plenty of time. Really getting into the meat of this route now. You can see that hold 35. Jessie Pilz, by the way, will be on the podium here in Chamonix. She's in first place with only 2 climbers still to go, including this one. Chaehyun Seo of South Korea chooses to bump up with the right there with the left hand, gets the left foot in place, goes up to hold 35 and just misses it. Series didn't seem to hold him back at all in the qualifiers or the semi-finals. And I have to say, from what I've seen this weekend, he's my favourite to win this one.
This is almost like moments of the bouldering season over again. Adam Ondra, last climber out to try and win the competition. Pressure is immense here.
He must have a pretty good idea of what's required here, you'd have thought, Adam. I'm pretty sure he'll know a top will do the job.
He knows he's got to put in a massive fight. It's an interesting, slightly different sequence there at the bottom. Didn't really like that right hand lower volume, ended up matching where his left foot is now, but very quickly through here. This is where Adam Ondra, that style that he has of just really sprinting through hard sequences is really going to work for him. I think it's a route that's got very powerful hard moves, but it's interspersed with some relatively okay rests.
And that is an Adam Ondra supporter about 5 metres from our commentary booth.
He won't be talking much tomorrow, I don't think.
No, I know. It's got Alberto's approach to shouting, clearly just give it everything.
So much passion on display here tonight, all the way from Megos as the first climber out. Electrifying men's final.
Yeah, it's been an absolutely gripping men's final, and Adam Ondra is now 4.5 minutes away from concluding it. How will it conclude? Adam, he looks like he's having to work here. He's certainly not cruising these moves. I'm judging that by the look on his face. He's still going pretty well, but a few grimaces.
Yeah, this section seems quite tricky on the feet, actually. This is where we saw Kai actually drop. He's really struggled to find something to put the power down through the left foot.
I think if we're going to see anyone do the Megos splits, it's surely Adam Ondra. He's got good flexibility, he's tall, he'll certainly have the span to reach it, but will he have even spotted it? I don't think he has, because, yeah, there we see, he's done it the traditional way.
Drops into that right hand undercut. What sequence does he use? He uses the Jakob Schubert method and then goes inverted.
And chalks up midway through as well for extra style points.
We were speculating how he would use that method because Martin Stranek, also from the Czech Republic, uses that same method. Adam Ondra has got to flip that right hand around. Oh, it looks so relaxed. For a moment there, I thought he might just have a really quick flip round, but in the end really crimps down on that left hand that he was on, the little yellow screw on just to the side there, and just rests it out then. The tension really building here into the head wall.
What an absolutely magnificent moment. Just over 3 minutes remaining. The Place du Mont Blanc absolutely packed. If anything, it's got more full as this finals progress. We've got the greatest climber of all time on the wall ahead of us, and it's all to play for. Adam Ondra taking a long rest here. He's earned that rest, so he's climbed so quickly. Getting himself set again, Mike. So impressive that the climbers were able to read from below that this was a section they'd need some energy for, and they're choosing to take rests beforehand. Adam really launching into the key section now, getting out to those 2 black triangles out on the end of the right hand end of the red feature. Gets the right hand out. He's looking very solid here, Adam. You can see the yellow hold right at the top of your screen there. That's where Alex Megos fell. If Adam Ondra can latch that hold, he'll win the competition on countback. It'd be great to see him top the route though. Still he pauses, he's got plenty of time left. Just had a little foot slip, maybe a little heart in the mouth moment. That red feature, just where he's got his left foot, there's a little metal bar on each edge of that. And it just means it's not quite as secure for the feet as it could be. This men's final coming down to the wire. The last climber out, Adam Ondra, the crowd give up a big cheer. He hasn't acknowledged them at all. Every now and then we do see him bring the crowd into it, but this time he's just staying focused, trying to get the best rest he possibly can. Crosses through. Adam launching up now. Gets a heel hook in place just for extra security, gets the clip done. There's only one more, and then it's the last clip of the route. He won't know it, but if he can latch this next hold, that is it for Adam Ondra. Shaking out again, he's climbed this route so intelligently, taking his rest when they've been available, and there it is. Huge cheer from the crowd. Adam Ondra is going to win here in Chamonix. Could he give us the perfect finish? It gets absolutely desperate on the head wall. Tiny little crimps. Again, he chooses to shake out. Needs to get the left foot up if at all possible. There's that tiny little screw-on to aim for. Again, Adam chalks up and takes something of a rest. He's going to get the clip done nice and early. 1 minute 20 left. Now he asks the crowd for a bit of support. Just over a minute left here in Chamonix to what's been a fantastic men's final. Could Adam Ondra top the route? He's got plenty of time. Has he got plenty of energy? Has he read it right? He has not. But he's done more than enough to win here. He gave the crowd what they wanted.